Hello my lovely bookish friends, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to this reading journal video. It has been a while since I did my last reading journal video. However, it is the start of the new year, which means it's time for the new year setup. So let's jump straight into that and into setting up the title page for the new year. Also in this video I'm going to talk you through my Notion reading journal. I've mentioned this before in a past video that I keep two journals, a physical and digital one, and today I'm going to go through both of them. My title page is a pretty simple layout. I can't do fancy calligraphy or artwork, so I just make use of stickers and postcards as well as old wrapping paper, which I am making use of for this background for this page. The postcard is one I got from the illustrator and YouTuber Love Soup's Patreon. It's a very cute postcard, and with all the books on it I thought it suited this nice simple title page very well. I love decorating my reading journal and making full use of all the Bookish stickers that I collect. I got most of these stickers from Etsy. If I can remember the shops, then I'll link them below. I tend to get most of my stickers off Etsy. If you just search Bookish stickers, those come up, and there's just so many artists and creators on there, so there's just plenty to choose from, and being a book lover, I have a lot of bookish themed ones. That's the title page all done, nice and simple. The next page that I'm adding in is one that I've never included in a book journal before, and that is a series tracker. I have seen a couple of other creators use these, and I thought it might come in handy as I have a couple of series that I want to continue and read more of this year. I went for a very simple design again for this page. I've seen other people be a bit more creative with their tracker pages. However, I just like to keep things simple, and it's going to be a word that I use a lot in this video because it's kind of the key word for my journal, both the physical and the Notion. I don't really, well, it's not that I don't like the more exciting and more aesthetic journals. I love them. However, I can't deal with the faff and the fuss of making all of it so beautiful and it's aesthetic. If my journal is complicated, then I just won't use it. And there are so many amazing ideas and styles of reading journals out there, and I often see others and think, oh, maybe I should do that. Oh, it's so pretty, I wish I could do that. But at the end of the day, I know I wouldn't keep it up. So it's best for me just to keep it as simple as possible. There we go. This is just a list of all the series that I'm kind of in the middle of or wanting to start this year. I do not intend to complete all of the series listed here, no way, but it's more of a guide just so I can see where I'm at with them, and just so that I can keep a track and accountable with the series that I'm in the middle of. This next spread is another newish one. It's kind of a blend of the spreads that I've done before and changing them up a bit. So for the last 2 years-ish, I've had TBR lists and spreads, and I have always failed my TBR lists. Last year I made a list of 12 books, which I was like, 1 book for each month. Yeah, I can do this. However, I only got to reading like 4 of them. For me, a TBR list is where books go to die and never be read. I find TBR lists, the idea of to be read, just too pressuring, as I am a mood reader and I just want to read whatever it is I feel like at the time. So I decided to come up with these kind of seasonal spreads where I have my read this maybe list, which is just an idea of some books that I might be fancying reading. Just if I suddenly feel like, oh, I want to read that, I'll just jot it down. But it's no real pressure, as if I don't get to these books, then never mind. I also want to keep track of the books that I buy over the course of each season, just as I want to see what the books being brought to books being read sort of ratio is. I don't actually buy that many books, but I still want to keep track and make sure that I'm actually reading what I'm buying. And I debated doing this as like a monthly spread of having January's read this maybe list and books brought, but then I realised that 1, I don't buy that many books each month, and 2, that having a list of books for each month might feel a bit pressuring, and also I just felt like I probably wouldn't keep up with having a spread new spread for each month. I felt like I just wouldn't keep up with it, so I decided to do it seasonally, as I feel like I'm more likely to keep on track of that. Now onto my Notion book journal. Now this is just the free Notion book list page template that I have decorated and added in my own little bits to, so it's really simple, and it's just where I keep my on-the-go reading journal. So I have the Notion app on my phone, and so when I start a book I can quickly note down the details, and then at a later date I will transfer these details into my physical reading journal. This is just so that I can make sure that I am definitely keeping a track of my reading. So here I keep track of each book, its author, genre, start and end date, as well as the format that I read it in, page numbers, when it is published. This is one that I don't always keep track of because, I don't know, I just don't feel like it's that important for me. But also then I keep track of whether or not I finished it, whether I'm in the middle of it, that kind of thing, or where also it's like kind of star rating as well. I simply duplicate this database each year, nice and simple. Now that I have already finished the first book for this year, so let me put in the details and you can see how this all works. The book that I finished is the first Harry Potter book, and as you can see I just add in all the details in this drop down menus. I didn't create this database, by the way, it is just a template that I have then just added my own bits and pieces to. I've recently added a few other extra bits to my digital journal. My lifelong reading goal is to read all of Agatha Christie's books, as I just love her murder mysteries. I just find them so great and so exciting. I just really want to read them all in my lifetime. So I have set up this page where I can keep track of all the books of hers that I've read and just tick them off. I'm pretty happy with this page, to be honest. I just went on the Agatha Christie's official site and got the lists of all her works, and I separated them into Poirot and Marple and so on, and yeah, I just think it's a really cute, nice page to keep track of this sort of reading goal of mine. Okay, since I have updated my Notion with the first book of the year, it is now time to do the same with my physical journal. And I'm also testing out this little printer that I bought in the sale. It's the Canon Zoe Mini 2, I believe. I saw that it printed in colour and onto sticker paper, and as it was in the sale I sort of thought I'd give it a try. I thought it might make it easier to print book covers, and then that would help me to stay up to date on my journal if I didn't have to print off a load of stuff, if I could just use this little mini printer. It actually turned out better than I thought. I'm really happy with these. There's just something about mini book covers that I just find so cute. I'm also a bit behind on last year's books as well, so I printed those out as well as the Harry Potter cover. My favourite part of my reading journal is the mood boards. I did have to print these off, but in the future I might use the mini printer for these as well. Anyway, the mood boards are just on Pinterest when you search up book aesthetics and stuff like that. It's just kind of that, but inside my reading journal, and it just allows me to live in the books a little bit longer. I also get to use my stickers and washi tape, and honestly it's just good fun. I really enjoyed making these. And Harry Potter is just a great book to create mood boards for. The world is incredible and the aesthetics are just amazing, and I really had a lot of fun creating this spread, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I've slightly changed how I keep track of my books in my reading journal. Most things are the same as my digital one, but before I used to have this section where I used to write down synopsis of the book and keep a brief blurb of the book in the journal. However, I've decided to take that out, as it was always the part I left till last minute and I never really wanted to do, writing down the whole blurb and all that. So I just decided to get rid of it altogether. In the end of the day, I didn't really need it anyway, as if I really loved a book, then I would have probably bought it, and if I didn't love it, then I don't really need to remember what it's about, or I can just Google it, there we go. I love how this spread turned out, and now that I've got rid of the synopsis part, that gives me a bit more space to maybe put in a few quotes and stuff like that as well, which I think will be really fun to play with in the future. To finish this video, I thought I'd give you a bit of a reading journal flip through, as well as finishing off some of the mood board spreads that I have missed for December's books. So I read the most books that I've ever read last year, 92 books in total I believe. So I will say a lot of them were manga and also in audiobook format. I really got into audiobooks last year, and my reading speed for audiobooks is like 1.6 or 7, something like that. So I read them quite fast, and yeah, I just really like that format. It's just so immersive and you really get pulled into the story, and as I'm dyslexic I find it a really accessible way to read as well. I'm also just going to give you a bit of December's wrap up because I didn't get to that video, and I might as well do it here whilst we've got them up. I read some great books in December, including The Little Prince, which I really loved, as well as A Holiday by Gaslight, which is a Regency romance novella, which again I absolutely loved. I also read Little Women for the first time, and I absolutely loved this novel, so I'm doing a spread for it. Like, you can tell if I absolutely adored a book, because then I would do a mood board spread for it as well. This story was just so lovely and heartwarming. Jo was probably my favourite of the March sisters, but I also really loved Beth, and oh my heart, I cried. I just loved it so much. I know I'm saying that a lot, but I really did. And this spread actually turned out so well. I was so happy with it. I had to use pictures from the movie because that movie is just so aesthetically pleasing on its own. I also read The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe for the first time. I listened to this as an audiobook and it was absolutely magical. I had to do a spread for this one as well because it was just lovely. I highly recommend giving the book a read if you haven't done before, because it's actually very short, it's very easy to read, the language isn't too difficult, but it's so whimsical and just lovely. The last two books that I read last year were the manga of The Lonely Castle and the Mirror, which is actually one of my favourite novels, so this manga adaptation of it was just brilliant. And the other book I read was in a piece of Japanese literature about this father and daughter who are food detectives and recreate meals from people's past. It was just a very heartwarming and lovely book I highly recommend. And yeah, that brings us back to this year's title page and everything, and to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, my lovely bookish friends.